Hey everyone, how we doing? My name is Tim Pongras and this is Focus on Detailing. Today's video is all about some much needed clarity. One of the most common questions I get as a detailer is how do you clean glass? Well, hopefully here today we're going to be getting that streak smear free finish that's protected as well. What I have with me here today is Stoner Car Care Invisible Glass Hybrid Ceramic Rain Repellent and Glass Cleaner. How's that for a name? And for the inside, Rain-X Anti-Fog. As we approach these colder months, we're faced with new challenges. Cold on the outside of your car and warm on the inside, you're going to be getting condensation and that nasty fog that none of us like. Hopefully we can dispose of that. And with the excess rain, with this other product, hopefully we can just get it to slide right off back to a nice clean standard. There's only one way to find this out, and that's by putting these two to the test.
I'll be running through the testing with each product, but leaving my opinion towards the end the best I can. What I have with me is my wife's Photon Tunland. It's overdue for a bath, and what a perfect time to treat the glass. Outside grubby and inside nasty. So firstly, giving it a wash. Clay bar to remove contaminants, polishing to dispose of light marks, and lastly a wipe down with a glass cleaner removing residual oils. First of all, you don't need to get this involved. I'm simply doing this to get the most out of the exterior protection, making sure I'm giving it the best possible chance. Now, with a fresh glass towel and Stoner's Invisible Glass Hybrid Ceramic, I sprayed the product directly onto one half of the windscreen, spreading it evenly over the surface. You'll likely get smearing, but fear not, as we come behind that and buff it clean. You can either flip your towel to its clean side or simply grab a new one. Same for the other side, obviously avoiding overspray, so make sure you just buff a bit further. Normally it'd be wise to spray directly into the towel and apply, but this is what the bottle is telling me to do. Immediately there was a big difference in how the glass was feeling, from grippy to slick. Obviously a pretty good sign for when the water will be hitting it later. Hopefully it'll just slide right off with little help from the wipers. This was a pretty straightforward process, easy to undertake and get the required results. But now for the inside. This vehicle, like many cars, have that residual nasty fog impacting the visibility. No matter if you clean it, it'll come back. You never seem to be able to get rid of it all. This can be caused by a few things, the major one being the gases being released from your interior plastics, progressively building layer by layer against the glass, condensation making it far more notable. This can't be stopped, but hopefully with this fancy product we can easily strip away that layer. This time I sprayed the product into my glass cleaning towel and applied it to one half of the windscreen, wiping it in and around everywhere, ensuring each corner was impacted. Then wiped up the excess with another towel. The key to glass cleaning is not only the products you use, but it's just as important to have at least a few specific glass cleaning towels. Now that this was done, I did it in the exact same manner on the other side. This just seems to be a more aggressive method of stripping away that nasty film using an alcohol-like solution. I say this as it's not meant for tinted windows. It can undermine the tint and may end up damaging it. So simply avoid doing that. The best way to make sure you've cleaned the windscreen properly is to make sure you look at it from multiple angles through different light. Bring it out in the sun and you'll see. This Photon was looking the goods, so safe to say so far, it's doing its job. And so, moving on, Stoner's Invisible Glass Hybrid Ceramic can also be used to clean the glass, hence the hybrid in the name, I believe. Not much need for the previous car, but with the mighty Odyssey, we'll see just what's going on, as I'll only be cleaning and protecting half of the windscreen. Spraying directly onto the glass and wiping up the mess. This is pretty extreme and not recommended. If your car is ever this dirty, you'll likely end up giving the whole thing a bath. But this way, I'm just going to be able to see how well it cleans and protects. After it cured in the sun, we jumped into the wash bay and gave it a well-earned rinse. I'm hoping everyone can see that difference in the way the water acts on the glass. I've got one more car that I'm going to be testing the anti-fog on. It sits in the shed doing not much, and it's accumulated a very thick film on the inside of the windscreen. Perfect for this video. Same as before, I worked on one half of the windscreen with 2 towels, one with the product and one to wipe up any residue. Really important to be thorough with glass cleaning, as any dirty spots will really stick out, especially in this case when it's covered in that greasy layer. But I'll be sticking to only cleaning one side for that specific reason. I want to see the difference, if any major ones. Best way I was able to find this out, as I said before, I brought it out in the sun and had a good look. So, I can say with confidence after using it with the prepped longevity test, side-by-side protection and dirty interior example, both did a fantastic job. The photon was still beating after several weeks thanks to that tough SiO2 or silica dioxide tech within the spray, and the interior film had dispersed after being cleaned. Shaylee drives this to work every morning. Cold mornings, and yes, even I miss spots, so I did have to touch up the interior glass. No fault of the product here, just shows that glass cleaning holds no prisoners. The protective action on the outside was impressive, but look, if you went through as much effort as I did to clean and prep it, you'd likely ceramic coat it. But this is still great for a quick fix or reapplication as necessary, as it is much easier. It helped to easily emulsify and protect in one easy sweep on the Odyssey, making a big difference with the protective barrier. The BMW glass was the true test for anti-fog, as it had that very thick film, but it seemed to cut right through that, back to clean again. A lot of the time glass cleaners struggle with that heavy buildup. Not impossible, but it's slower work, as it kinda ends up smearing the product and the film. This almost dissolved that layer and brought back the clarity. Did the fog come back? Yes, inevitably. But it's starting on a fresh, stripped-free glass, so upkeep was that much easier. So to sum it up, for around $20 for the anti-fog and around $25 for the hybrid invisible glass, it's a great deal. Keep them in your car with some fresh clean towels and you'll be sorted both with the interior and exterior. And on that positive note, I'm going to be closing up this video. Thank you all for watching, take care, and I'll catch you all later.